So I wanted to make a quick little mini pot pie in this little disposable pot pie tins I got from Amazon. This one is deeper. Some of them are only an inch and a half deep. This one is 2 inches or a little over, I think. And then I use I got some Armor beef stew. And the only thing about it, it doesn't have big chunks of meat, but it's got meat all throughout the gravy. But I love the taste of the beef gravy. So, you know, this is a lot cheaper and quicker to throw you together a little mini pot pie for one or two. And you don't have to go buy a roast and do all that. But one day I will post from scratch a beef pot pie. But for now I want to use this. But I don't like, and you may, look at all those potatoes in there. I do not like the potatoes in the beef stew because they taste like canned potatoes, and I don't like canned potatoes. So in this little 6-cup aroma rice cooker, I diced up about a medium red potato and cooked that real quick. It didn't take any time. It was just a small amount of potatoes. And I drained them, and I mixed them with all the gravy and the carrots and the meat from the beef stew. And so now all I have to do, which I forgot about, I'm going to put some frozen peas in the microwave. Or you can put them in this rice cooker for a few minutes. Boil them for a few minutes and they're ready to go. And then I'll put those in there because the stew doesn't come with peas. And you know your pot pie has carrots and peas. And the beef stew has a lot of carrots, so I didn't have a problem with that. So I got fresh potatoes, which taste so much better, with this delicious gravy from this beef stew. And then I'll add the peas and I'll put them. I wanted puff pastry to put on top because that's the best. But none of our stores have it. It's like, where is the puff pastry? They're all out. So I'm going to try to roll out some crescent roll dough and see how that works on top of this little mini pot pie. But you'd be better off with puff pastry if you can find it. Okay, back soon. Oh, and this should make at least a couple pot pies, I would think. By the time I get the peas in it and everything, it's quite a bit. But I love the taste of this beef gravy. So this is a quick and easy pot pie. Like I said, you can just leave the potatoes in this stew if you want. But I'm trying to make something that's similar to pot pie from scratch that tastes more, fresh. And without that canned flavor. So that's why I'm doing that. And the peas you can just heat up in the microwave real quick and mix that in. And then we're going to put it in there and try the crescent rolls. We'll see how that works. I really am upset over no puff pastry. No phyllo dough, no puff pastry. But we'll see how that goes. So here's our filling with the peas in it. And I'm going to heat it up a little bit because the crescent rolls only takes 9 to 12 minutes. I don't have to have it to a boil, but because you don't want it to ruin your crescent rolls that you put on top. But I am going to heat it up a little bit in the microwave before I put it in the containers. So I put out a little flour and I put 4 crescent rolls together. And I'm going to roll them out and see what we get. See what size I need to put over the little mini tins. And I've got this little roller, acrylic roller. I'll leave a link in the description box below if you're interested, and also for the rice cooker. This dough was not that easy to work with. I patched it up some. I did have flour that helped, but it didn't want to stick to itself and stay together good, you know. So we'll see how this turns out. I'm going to put this on a cookie sheet, and I'll do one more. And I'm just going to lay it over in a square shape on this one and see how it turns out. And I'm going to put it in a 375-degree oven. I put mint holes and a little bit of egg wash. On this one, I just kind of rolled it out to kind of a square, laid it on, cut the extra off, and just pressed down. I don't know if it'll shrink up too much. We shall see. But, and I put a little egg wash on, put the vent holes. But this dough, and it's a generic brand, which my husband shouldn't have got. I'm sure he picked them up for me. It just wants to keep shrinking back, and even if you let it rest for a while, and not sticking to itself. So we'll see how this goes. Next time I'm going to do puff pastry, I'll put it on. I'm going to stick this in a 375-degree oven on a cookie sheet and see how it goes. After about 7 or 8 minutes on the 375, the outer edges started getting brown, so I took some aluminum foil strips and I covered the outer edges, and I put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes at 375, and then I raised the temperature to 400 for the last 5 minutes. So altogether, it was what, 15, 20, about 23 minutes. They look pretty good. The only thing is, I made thicker crust, so it's more carbs, so I can't wait to find some puff pastry, because that's quick and easy, rolls out good, you know, easy to mess with, so we'll do that next time. But this did work. But while these were baking, I looked on YouTube, and I found out other people use crescent rolls for their pot pies, but they usually use a long rectangular baking dish and make a lot of pot pie filling, and then they just take 2 of the crescent rolls, stick them together in like a square, and they just put those down the pan like that. And so that would have been less carbs because it's thinner. The dough would be thinner. And it'd be a lot easier than trying to make these round ones with crescent rolls. But, you know, they look pretty tasty, pretty crunchy. We'll see how they taste. Also, you can call this semi-homemade, or you can call it like we used to back in the day, doctoring up something. So we doctored up the stew and doctored it up. It looks pretty tasty. I'll come back in a minute, do a taste test. Let them cool down a little bit. Don't try to pick your pot pie up by the crust, because it could come up off of the pan. Okay, I'm going to do a little taste test. I got a piece of crust on there, some potatoes, peas, meat. Looks pretty good. It's a little hot. So much better than the frozen pot pies at the store. That filling tastes homemade, guys, really. It's delicious. No canned potato taste. The gravy's delicious. I know everything's oversalted usually, but I really think this could use a little salt, the filling. But it's tasty, and the crust is pretty delicious. The crust has a little bit of sweetness to it, but it's very good. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I don't know if you want to try this, but if you can find puff pastry, try that. If not, and you want to use the crescent dough, just lay it out on top of your rectangle baking dish and make pot pie like that. But if you want to make the mini ones like this, I would just put 2 of those together and lay it over the top of it and pinch it together, 2 of the crescent rolls. That's less carbs, not as thick of crust, but a lot easier. And it'll probably bake quicker, too, that way. Okay, well, thanks for watching. It was an experiment. I really like it, though.